Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Just want to make sure I'm going to check in, make sure we are live. We are live in living color. Yes, it looks as though we are. And there's a slight delay. Let me just make sure. Give me just a moment because on my end, it says we're live. Now I see that we're live. I forgot there's a slight delay. So I'm over here talking to myself and you all are not even here. So hello, powerful people. Hello, powerful person. Hello, powerful person. You know, that has been my greeting for a number of years. And I tell you, in these times that we find ourselves in, I'm starting to purposely slow down when I say, hello, powerful people. Hello, powerful person. It's not just for me, it's also for you to remind ourselves that we are powerful. We are powerful beyond measure. As Marianne Williamson's quote says, we are powerful beyond measure. Anybody else familiar with that quote? It's a great quote. So, hello, thank you so much for being here. Who am I and why am I all up in your news feed? I am Sophia Casey. I am a master certified coach. I slow down on purpose when I say master certified coach because I am so proud of that designation. I am so very proud of my credential. It is the highest level of credential that you can get in our coaching industry. And as you, I'm sure, know, there are three levels of credentials. There's the Associate Certified Coach, ACC. So if you're an ACC credential coach, can you just put ACC in the chat? I want to give you a big shout out because I know you put in a lot of work, a lot of hours to actually get that credential. Then the second level is PCC. If you're a PCC, put PCC in the chat. PCC stands for Professional Certified Coach. And I know if you're a professional certified coach, you put in some work. You put in some work around demonstrating your understanding of the ICF Core Competencies. And then there is the third level, which is where I am, Master Certified Coach. And just an FYI, in order to be an ACC credential coach, you have to have coached people to the tune of at least 100 hours. PCC, 500 hours. Okay. And if you're an MCC, please put MCC in the chat too. I love connecting with all of my credential coaching friends. MCC, you have to have coached to the tune of at least 2,500 hours. Whew, it took me some time. It took me some time. But you know what? It doesn't feel like it took a lot of time because I love what I do. I love what I do. And that's partly what I want to talk to you all about today. So, I'm again an MCC. I'm a Master Certified Coach. I also have the wonderful privilege to be an executive life coach. Yes, yes, yes. I get to work with some extraordinary executives, C-suite executives, and senior managers on their way to the C-suite room. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you today just about that, about operating in your zone of genius, about loving what you do. You know, I for years, I'm so proud to say it. I was a public servant. Yay, shout out to all of my US federal government, state government, local government, even our international governments. Shout out to the government employees. My goodness, that is some servant leadership. So, very, very proud to have that in my background. I also had the wonderful privilege to work with several private sector companies, proud of that work as well. And I was so happy the day that it really came to me that I was in my zone of genius. I was in a space of doing something that I believed I was purposed to do. I literally believe part of God's purpose for me on this planet is for me to do what I'm doing. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And once I came to that realization, I kid you not, things became so much easier, so much easier, so much easier. And I'm still in process with some of it. So let me just check in with you. First of all, what part of the world are you in? If you'll just drop that in the chat for me. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at you. I'm looking for you, for your comments, just to make sure I'm connected to you. Okay, so a big shout out to Sharna. Hi, Sharna. Thanks for coming. She's a member of our extraordinary ICLI Rising team. Big shout out to my wonderful co-pilots for my team, Malik and Anaya. Thank you so much. Coach Elizabeth is in the house. I see your name, Coach Elizabeth. I am so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to be connected to you. Coach Elizabeth just shared that she is not only a PhD, hello, she is also an associate certified coach. And I know she will not mind me saying she has aspirations to keep on going. Yeah, so good to see you, Coach Elizabeth. And if I haven't said hi just yet, it means I just can't see your name, and I promise I will a little bit later. So back to our topic at hand, because I know I just have you for a few minutes. So I wanted to talk to you about zone of genius. Like, what is that? The zone of genius philosophy, if you will, actually comes from an extraordinary author that I had the wonderful opportunity to share the stage with. Ooh, that will be one of the highlights of my 2024, hands down. It was one of the highlights. And I'll show you the book cover. That's it right there. Okay. The book, and I know my team will put that in the chat, is called The Big Leap. The Big Leap, written by, like I said, an extraordinary author, Gay Hendricks. When this book was introduced to me by actually one of my coaches years ago, oh my gosh, probably a decade ago, I was blown away. I was blown away by the revelations and the insight and the awareness that I got from reading this book. And it stays in rotation. I still read this book over and over and over again. It stays on my Audible. Anybody else have 50 plus books on Audible? This is just me. So yes, so The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Okay, I'm gonna hold it up again. And Hendricks is Hendricks. Gay Hendricks. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe I'll go like that. So this book was such an extraordinary addition to my life personally, but also my life professionally. What it showed me, and I can't wait to hear what you all think about the book. If you've already read The Big Leap, will you just put Big Leap in the chat? That way I know you read it. And for those of you who have not read it, I strongly encourage you to read it. Get the paperback version and get the Audible version too. I don't get one copper penny by sharing this with you. So you know, I am sharing this with you because it had such a profound impact on my life. And the premise, in a nutshell, I do a whole workshop series on this, a 4-part workshop series on this. But in a nutshell, I'll share that the Big Leap, what Gay Hendricks invites us to consider, is that there are 4 levels of competence. Let's say that 4 levels of competence. I'm going to talk to you about the first level in just a bit, which is the zone of incompetence. Why would we be talking about being incompetent? And then the next level is the zone of competence. And then we move up the ladder to the zone of excellence. And then the big kahuna, like I like to call it, the zone of genius. And this book was has such a profound impact on me because it really calls us forth to actually take a look and ask ourselves, is what I'm doing, is it actually in my zone of genius? The work that I'm doing, maybe even the relationships that I have. Ooh, that's a topic for another time. But am I operating from my zone of genius? Okay. I want to start with the first level. And I promise I'm going to come back every single week and I'm going to talk about the next level and the next level. But today I want to talk about the zone of incompetence. And I want to tap into you. And I want to ask you some questions. So In just a moment, I know my wonderful colleagues are going to drop the question in the chat, and here it is here. What's something in your work or you specifically your coaching business? Guy, I work with a lot of coaches. I mentor a lot of coaches. I've trained over 1,000 coaches. I'm proud of my work with coaches. I work with coaches in corporations and coaches who have their own businesses. So I am particularly looking at you, coach. So I want to know, what's something in your work or your coaching business that you struggle with, but you still find yourself doing? What is something that you struggle with in your business, but you find yourself doing? What I mean by that, something that you're doing that you're not great at, right? You don't jump out of bed and be like, "Oh, I can't wait to go do this." So I'll give you an example. I'll take that question down and then I'll give you an example. So for me, what would be in my zone of incompetence? Ooh, let me think. I know some of you are thinking like me, well, I'm just so good at so many things. Let me think. What would be in my zone of incompetence is being I'm gonna say being a trigonometry professor, right? I'm just making this up. Actually being a professor who teaches trigonometry. Like, that's in my zone of incompetence. Could I learn to do it? Oh, of course I can. I was a school teacher. Shout out to our educators. I was a school teacher for over, oh my gosh, almost 2 decades. So could I learn it? Absolutely. Could I go back to school to learn it? Absolutely. And I happen to love math, so I could. But right now, do I have any desire to do that work? No, because it would be in my zone of incompetence. I want to check in with you all just a moment to see what is something that's in your zone of incompetence. Give me just a moment. Let me check in with you all in your zone of incompetence. So that's something that you know you have no business doing, right? Because you're not that great at it. And also, I want you to think about it like this in terms of running your business. It's something that you're not only not good at it, but you end up taking it on all the time. What is that for you? I'm sure my team, some of my team members are on here. They could list a whole lot of things that are in my zone of incompetence. And you know why they can list it? Because those things are in their zones of genius and their zones of excellence and their zones of competence. That's why I hired them, because they're so good at those things. So I want to know. Okay, so Coach Elizabeth, we are in agreement there. She says virtually anything administrative. Yes. Now, can you learn it, Coach Elizabeth? Of course you can. Of course you have. I'm sure you actually do administrative things from time to time in your coaching business. But we want to think about it this way. We want to think about being and operating from our zone of incompetence is a time and energy waster. Ooh, I said it. Somebody put that in the chat. Operating from our zone of incompetence can be a time and energy waster. And why do we even care? We care because we want to take that time and use that time. Time is precious, right? We want to use that time and that energy to focus on things that support us with being and doing what we most care about. We want to focus our energy in our businesses. Talking to you, coach, on those things that have us come to life, jump out of bed, that we're excited about. And a lot of times, I know this because I've lived it myself. And like I said, I work with lots of coaches. I know when you're starting out in your business that it can be this tendency to take on everything. Like right now, I'm still in process with that too. I'm still wearing way too many hats. Too many is two or more. I only just want to wear one hat. So when we're starting out in our businesses, a lot of times there is this tendency to think, oh my gosh, I got to do it all. I got to do it all. I got to do it all. When we are operating from that place, when we're operating from that place of scarcity, I have it that it cuts off our creativity. So if I'm over here spending time doing these things that I'm not great at, but I feel like I have to, I must. That can drain my energy and take my attention away from the things that I'm darn good at, right? So I'm curious, what are those things for you? Okay. And then I'm going to check in just a bit. I'm going to keep going because I know I have to wrap up. I know I only have you for a few minutes. So I want to drop a couple of more nuggets for you. So I want you to think about those things. Okay. So just make a list. Things that you're doing, that you're involved in, that you know, I'm not great at this. And it does, therefore, take me a long time, a lot more time to do this. I want you to write all those things down. Okay. All right. As a coach, I typically don't give homework, but as a trainer, I do. So here's your homework. I want you to write those things down. And then I want you to think about what on that list can I actually delegate, okay? Delegate or stop altogether or pause. Like I'm giving you some options, right? What from that list could I delegate, stop altogether, right? Or pause. And if you have the answer to that question, go ahead and put in the chat and I'll check in with you in just a bit. Okay. So thinking about me and my businesses, I'm so grateful to have Sophia Casey Enterprises and ICLI Rising. And you all know that I am a co-founder in a new nonprofit, IBCA, International Black Coaches Alliance. So when I think about my roles in all of those organizations, when I am spending my time making Canva flyers, it is not always a waste of my time or a waste of my energy because sometimes I like to go play. Sometimes I relate to that as playing. I get to go play and be creative. But those times where I feel like I'm pressured, like I gotta, I'm impatient, so I gotta go create this flyer, it can drain my energy, right? And is it in my zone of incompetence? Well, I would say I'm competent at it, but I'm not the best at it. Now, let me tell you about this incredible colleague of mine, one of our team members, Paola. Shout out to Paola, Nicaragua. Paola, a recent college graduate, hello. She is such a baddie when it comes to creating social media assets and graphics and images and Instagram reels and things for LinkedIn and all of this stuff. She is phenomenal. I imagine that creativeness, that skill set, that's all from her zone of genius. I've even noticed that when I ask her, like, hey, can you make a graphic about this or an image or some kind of social media post about this? She gets so excited. I can imagine that she's right there behind the scenes at her desk, getting all excited and creating these things. And I have a feeling that that work is in her zone of genius. It makes her feel alive. It has her come alive. She's excited about it. Now, I don't know if she jumps out of bed, but she might jump out of bed to go do it, right? So I want you to think about things that are not in your zone of genius. Okay. So for me, with the social media stuff and creating flyers and posts and all that kind of stuff, can I do it? Sure. But I don't do it like Paola does because I don't have that same relationship to it. Okay. I do not have that same relationship to it. So what is it on your list? Okay. Let me check in really quickly and see if you all answered my homework question. Okay, so Coach Elizabeth says that marketing social media is not necessarily in her zone of genius, but what she can do is she can delegate that or she can hire someone. Absolutely. And I can hear it now. Thank you, Coach Elizabeth. I can hear it now. I hear you all saying, especially you folks who have just started or just launched your businesses. You're saying, well, Sophia, where's the budget for that? I don't have the budget to go and hire someone. And what I have for you is to consider that maybe it is not hiring someone in the way that you're thinking about hire, that word hire or hiring. So way back when, I don't know, oh my gosh, how many years has it been? Over 8 years ago. I had already been in my business for about 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, I started to just feel really bogged down by all the administrative stuff that Coach Elizabeth offered. I started to feel bogged down even by the marketing and the branding and the social media stuff. And so I had this wonderful idea. Well, actually, it came from my divine team. Thank you, divine team. I had this wonderful idea to go and put out a vacancy announcement for an intern. So I did it. Had I ever had an intern before? No. Did I know how that was going to work? No. Right? Did I have the budget? No. But the wonderful thing that I've learned in this wonderful world of coaching is that we can declare something will be so without knowing all of the how. So I made the declaration that I will add someone to my team to help me with some of these tasks and some of these things that are not in my zone of genius, so I can go spend more of my time in my zone of genius, which is coach training, which is speaking, which is facilitation, which is one-on-one coaching, team coaching. I have a few things in my zones of excellence and genius. So what can I do? I put this vacancy announcement out, and I kid you not, that person, that very first intern that I ever hired, shout out to you, Petra, love. She is now a certified and credentialed coach who is now operating and working from her zone of genius and doing this work. So, what if I had allowed myself to get stopped by the how? And what if I allowed myself to get stopped and I kept on working on those things that were in my zone of incompetence? Well, I could tell you what would have happened. I wouldn't be here with you all right now. Because my time scarcity mindset would say, I ain't got time to go talk to these people on LinkedIn. I got to go make some flyers. I got to make some social media posts. I got to do this and I got to do that. So I want to encourage you to consider if that is one of the things that's in your zone of incompetence, the administrative stuff, the social media stuff. I want to encourage you to consider partnering with, collaborating with, hiring an intern. And thank you, Coach Layla. What a cool name. Is your name Layla James? Anyway, I hope I have it right. Lola. I think it's Lola. So let me see. I want to make sure I can see her message. Okay, yes. She says college interns. Absolutely. College interns. Yes. 2 snaps in a circle for you, Coach Lola, for offering that. Yes. And actually, the intern that I'm talking about that I hired those many, many years ago, she actually was in college. She was attending a university, and not getting stopped in the how had me put the vacancy announcement out there and then start interviewing people. And when I interviewed her, one of the things that we talked about, she was so excited about the opportunity of possibly working with me and working with a coach because she was fascinated by coaching. But she also said, this will really, really help me. Imagine that. A win-win. WIN/WIN, a win-win was created. I won because I had someone who was passionate about that type of work that I wasn't great at, to be able to give her an opportunity to do that, to learn as she's working with me and working with a coach and working with a business startup and working with a coaching business and working with a coach training school. Like, she had so much opportunity. And it was also a huge win for me because I was not focused on all that stuff. All my energy was not going over there. Then I could focus on the things that are in my zone of genius. And from that place of energetic creativity, I created lots of programs. I created courses. I created a slew of courses that made me $19,000 in just a span of a few months because my creativity was able to flow with no problem. And she helped me with that as well. So I'm gonna check back in with you. I want to know, is this conversation resonating with you? Is this conversation supportive of you? Because I only want to come here if it's supportive of you. Because I know you have some stuff to do and I have some stuff to do. But I want to know if it's supportive of you, please put a number one. Just put a one. Put a one in the chat and let me know. Okay. So I want to offer you a few other things. Bear with me as I go back to my gems. Awesome. Why would you all say, what would you say is the reason or reasons that we get stuck in doing things that we're not good at? What do you say are the reasons that we get stuck inside of doing things that we're not good at? I already shared some of my reasons. One was money scarcity, time scarcity. Like I need it now, I need it now. I don't have a lot of time, I need it now, so I better go do it myself, right? What would you say are the reasons that you tend to do things that are not in your zone of genius? So yes, one possible reason is, and I've heard this actually from some of the coaches and some of the leaders that I work with, is this fear around delegating and outsourcing your work. Hey, I get it, because this right here, do it this way. This right here is my baby. I love being the Chief Empowerment Officer, the CEO of ICF Rising. I love having an ICF accredited coach training school. She's my baby, right? And we're very protective of our babies. So I get it. I want you to know that I hear you and I resonate with your discomfort of literally taking your baby and saying, okay, you can hold my baby, you can have my baby for a little while. I get it. And that is one of the things that stopped me early on in my coaching career as well. So I can imagine, but I want to know also from you, what else? What else? What else? So okay, yeah, so I see being complacent. Ooh, Anaya, I want to hear more about that. Tell me more. Tell me more. Thank you. I also hear not sure of what I actually like to do. So yeah, so maybe you don't even know what's in your zone of genius. Oh, we're going to talk about that over the next several weeks. I have a feeling that you're going to have an opportunity to take a look and consider what's in your zone of genius. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes we don't want to delegate or outsource the work because one of my number one saboteurs, control. We want to be in control of everything. How many times have you heard people say, or yourself say, okay, you don't have to out yourself? People, we'll talk about those people over there. How many times have you heard people say, oh, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself? I was there. If I want it done right, I got to do it myself. And I am so grateful, so very grateful to God and my divine team to be able to say, I have an extraordinary team. Me being here right now with you is evidence of the power of delegation, the power of declaration, of saying, which I said many years ago, I will have a full team of support. I won't have to teach all of the modules in our coach training program, which is what I was doing a few years ago. And also when I worked in other coach training schools, I won't have to teach all of the modules. I will have a whole array, a whole village of phenomenal instructors. And yes, we do. I won't have to, be the COO, the CFO, the CLO, the CMO, the OOO. I won't have to do that because I am declaring that I will have people support me. And I'm declaring it, and I'm willing to let the tight reins go a little bit around my control and my hold on, where is she? My baby. I get it. I get it. So, okay, let me check in with you and then I'm going to wrap up because I know we're just about over time. Give me just a moment. I know you all are just dropping in gems. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes what stops you is pressure. I get it. The pressure, absolutely. What else? What else stops you? Okay. What else stops you? Being complacent, absolutely. I want to know more about that. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So also, okay, so Coach Elizabeth says for her, it's because she doesn't have the money to hire people to help her. And she just feels like she should do it herself. I know Coach Elizabeth is not alone. Okay. Can you resonate with what she just offered? Yes, 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 yes. And so, what I want to offer you, Coach Elizabeth, and all of you, and thank you so much for being with me today. And even if you're listening on the replay, I want to challenge you to make that list. And again, take one thing at a time from that list. And I want you to think about and brainstorm ways that that work can be removed, alleviated, lifted off of you so that you can go over there and play in your zone of genius. Zone of genius. You know, sometimes I say when I am doing coach training or when I'm coaching an executive or when I'm mentoring a coach or when I'm speaking on a stage, sometimes, no kidding, it feels like an out of body experience. Like right now in this moment, while I'm here with you right now in this moment, I am operating from my zone of genius. I get asked all the time, oh my gosh, Coach Sophia, I hate public speaking. How do you do that with such ease? It's because I feel like I was born for it. I feel like it's a part of my life purpose to connect with people in this way. It feels great. It brings me joy. I have high confidence in it. Why? Because it's aligned with my purpose. Why? Because I've been able to turn down the volume on all those things that are in my zone of incompetence and zone of competence so that I can enjoy what I'm doing right now in this moment. Right now in this moment. Okay, I know we have to wrap up, but I have so much more I want to share with you, and I want to take a peek in on your comments as well. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I promise, if I didn't get to your comment, I'm going to circle back on the replay and I'll make sure that I do address your comment or your question. So, yeah, if you have any questions, please drop those in the chat as well. So, I do have to wrap up because I get to go coach some people. But what I want to leave you with is I want you to consider that if you need any support around letting go of that tight grip on all of those things that you're doing that you know are in your zone of incompetence, I want to encourage you to connect with us. I happen to know a whole lot of coaches who would be thrilled, honored to support you around that, to support you maybe with brainstorming, right? How you can actually fulfill upon your declaration of, I'm going to have a team of support. Okay. So we're going to put our website right there in the comments, iclirising.com. Visit us at iclirising.com. Let us know. You can actually set up a one-on-one with me by clicking on Meet with Enrollment. It will be me or one of my colleagues, but you can set up one-on-one time with us and let us know, hey, I actually want to be coached. Can you support me by connecting me with a coach? Also, if you are ready to start your coaching business, yes, if you know it's in your zone of genius, like me, and all of the coaches I get to work with, I invite you to come check out our expert coach immersion programs. We have several, but I want you to pay attention, especially to our expert coach immersion intensive program. Our next cohort starts in just a few weeks, and I'd love to talk to you about it. All right, go be good to each other. Be good to each other. These are some audacious times we find ourselves in. Go be good to each other. And most importantly, be great to yourself. See you next time, powerful person. Ciao.